Callum, pretty devastating news, mate.
Yeah, not a shock though, so that doesn't make it any less disappointing. It's not something I was hoping to come home with, but you know, I've had a pretty good 12 months. I've had lots of opportunities, and you know, I'm just glad it didn't happen 18 months ago.
So it's not a shock. Were you fearing the worst from the moment it happened?
Yeah, as soon as it happened, I felt a good, decent tear and heard it as well. So that wasn't a good sign, and the physio, Alex Contouras, wasn't too confident either. So we sort of had a bit of time to get our heads around it, and you know, as I said, it's not any less disappointing though.
Was it like the previous injury?
Pretty similar. Last time I didn't really hear much of a tear or feel anything apart from a bit of a shift in the knee, and that was a partial tear. This time it was a considerable tear, and yeah, I wasn't overly confident going in.
It's pretty innocuous, wasn't it? Oh, well, it looked innocuous. Well, can you talk us through it and what actually happened?
Yeah, basically I went to field the ball, and then once I picked the ball up, tried to get up and twist and turn as quickly as possible to throw it, and I think either my foot just got stuck or you know, my body wasn't ready to do what I needed it to, and yeah, it got stuck and just jolted on me, and not a good thing.
Can you have an artificial graft, or is it a full normal surgery that'll put you out for 12 months?
Yeah, look, we've decided to go with a hamstring replacement cruciate. We're pretty confident that that'll get the job done. They've had a really high success rate with those, so rather than go with the synthetic, we weren't quite sure. You know, they haven't been doing them quite as long. We just felt more confident in going with the hamstring, so that's what we'll go with.
Mate, the statement said 6 to 12 months. Are you in any understanding of whether to be closer to 6 or closer to 12? I mean, I guess from a first class perspective, if it's 6, it may as well be 12.
Yeah, exactly. You know, I'm pretty sure it'll be sort of 9 to 12. You know, with the fact that you know, 9 months will probably leave me with probably still a few months to get ready for the Shield season. There'd be no point in rushing, I don't think. So yeah, probably I would have thought closer to 9 to 12.
Callum, is the worst part about what happened at the start of the home summer that you've now got, I suppose, you know, a full season of cricket to have to sit through?
Yeah, it'll probably be frustrating watching the Redbacks boys run around, belting them around, but you know, the timing's probably, you know, neither here nor there. I think there's plenty of cricket going on around the world 12 months of the year, so but it's just going to be tough watching the Redback boys run around, and then obviously the India series from afar.
On the timing though, you were starting to make a real big impact on Australian cricket, and people starting to know all around the world about you, so that's a pretty devastating, that sort of time.
Yeah, it's disappointing because it was so much fun playing with the Aussie boys, and we were having a bit of success too, but also very grateful that I did actually have the opportunity in the first place, and the fact that we had such a great win in the Champions Trophy when probably a lot of people didn't expect it from us. You know, it's just such a fantastic thing to be a part of, and as I said, I'm just glad it didn't happen 18 months ago.
I'm just so clear, after you did have a partial tear in, you know, what sort of surgery did you have on the knee and the recovery there?
Basically, I did damage my cruciate ligament, my anterior cruciate ligament, but it was only a partial tear. It tore from bone to bone, which is quite rare in itself. So, you know, I actually, since that surgery, haven't had any swelling or pain at all really for 4 or 5 years, which has been fantastic. Obviously, you know, none of us really saw this coming, but you know, we'll get it done this time. We'll get the full reconstruction, and hopefully she'll be pretty much 100%.
Callum, can you just talk us through your period of time in the Australian squad? I think fair to say as a young fella, when you first came into the Redback side, it probably took you a little while to find your feet, but you seem to have really managed the progression into international cricket with amazing aplomb. Has there been any extra, you feel like you've developed a level of maturity that perhaps you didn't have before?
Yeah, maybe. I'm not too sure. I think you know, having such a great support network around both the Redbacks and the South Australian side at the moment, the Australian side at the moment, you know, that really does help you progress your game. And I think that also the season I had over at Netherfield in the England League cricket, you know, that really helped me as well. I think become probably, you know, a bit more consistent performer, and you know, someone who's probably a little bit more reliable than I had been through probably my second and third season with the Redbacks. So yeah, maybe the English season combined with the support around the other two sides that I've been playing for, the Australians and the Redbacks, you know, that helps a lot, I think.
Do you have, I guess, a better feeling now that, not that it's going to be easy to get back, but that you've got a greater understanding of what you need to achieve to get back into international cricket?
Yeah, I think, you know, as I said, the consistency and being able to contribute to wins with any side that you're playing probably helps your selection causes. So, you know, hopefully get back as quickly as possible and then get back to helping, you know, the Redbacks win as many games as possible, and hopefully that'll help me get back into the Aussie side.
Callum, the rehab from a knee like this can you know, obviously it takes time, but it can be a bit of a lonely thing as well because you're not within a team environment. Do you have any contemporaries or know of any footballers who've been through the experience that you can have a chat to?
Oh, look, I think I have plenty of support around the Redbacks, so I'm going to try and be around the guys on match day as often as possible, and might even try and get away on a trip interstate with them as well at some stage, having spoken to Graham and know about it. But you know, I don't think it'll be too lonely. I've got plenty of support around. I've got some, you know, great family and friends to draw upon, and you know, being around this place, it's a great place to be around, and you know, I think I'll be fine and have plenty of support around the place.
Mark, you probably weren't expecting to have him for long anyway, but a bit of a blow to your season.
Oh, look, I just want to give Callum as much support as possible. I mean, yeah, we'd certainly budgeted for his involvement in the Australian team, and that's what we're here to do, is to help to reduce Australian players, international players. So we probably didn't budget for him being around, but as Callum's mentioned here, now that he's going to be around, we'll make sure that we get him involved with us and use his knowledge and abilities to help us out with some match day stuff. So pretty keen to have that happen. But look, we'll just provide as much support as we can to him to get him back to playing his best cricket as quickly as is possible.
With a long-term injury, does it allow you to bring another player onto the list from overseas or anything like that?
Oh, we could have, as we stand now, so there's no room there. We don't have to worry about that. So
Callum's an Australian contracted player anyway, Graham. So no, that makes no effect in that regard.
But isn't South Australia disadvantaged now that, you know, one of their key players, but if he was to play for South Australia?
He's not one of our contracted players. He's on the national list, so it has no impact at all on others.
Right. And what about from an Australian point of view, a big loss for Australia, especially with you know, Bracken going down as well, a few injuries there?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, you know, Callum's well documented, made a very, very good impact on national cricket, international cricket. So you know, I think you learn a lot from people in hard times. We've already learned a lot about Callum, if we didn't know already, over the past 4 or 5 days. You know, he's a quality young man, and he's come back with a smile on his face, which not too many young blokes would do it. I think he's a young man with plenty of time ahead. This is a minor hurdle, and we're all sure he'll get back and stronger and better than ever.
Tony, can you describe Callum's impact on Australian cricket over the past 9 months?
Well, he's played well during that whole time, and he's been a large part of that. You know, his numbers will suggest as well that he's had a terrific impact since he's arrived. And look, we've all been delighted with the way that he's just settled in. Not every player does that, as we know. He just sort of settled into international cricket like they belong, and he's certainly done that. So, you know, it's become a pretty tight ship now. They're winning games and they're winning competitions, so it's not an easy side to crack into at the moment. So I'm sure he'll be missed.
Fast bowling career over?
Yeah, I think so, mate. We might be turning off spin now.
And seriously, but how will you fill your time? I mean, it's well and good to be involved with the Redbacks, but outside of rehabilitation, what are you going to do to try and kill the time?
Well, hopefully it won't be too long off the golf course. I'm hoping sort of 2 to 3 months. Hopefully that'll be good. Andrew Hazlitt from West Torrens Eagles has handed over one of his training guitars, so I'm going to try and learn a bit on there and see how we go there.
Callum, just double checking, are you aiming for this time next year? Is that your mark on the calendar that you'd like to come back, or have you even just left it open?
Left it open at this stage, but it'd be fantastic if I was able to get myself up and ready to go by game 1 next year with the Redbacks, and you know, probably set that as a bit of a goal, but haven't really thought about it too much at this stage.